Welcome back to Footy SA for Farmers Union Iced Coffee. Speaking of Farmers Union Iced Coffee, it's time for our SANFL update as we get into the results that have been played over the course of the weekend. As we go through the games, North Adelaide, a 15-point win over West Adelaide on the weekend. Burton kicked 2 and Anderson among the best. Sturt had a good win over Norwood, so they'd be a little bit nervous at Norwood Way. They wouldn't have expected that. Code kicked 3 in that game. As we turn the page, South Adelaide and Glenelg, a ripping game of footy with South Adelaide 2 good in the end. Eddie kicked 6 and Brooksby the best, while Central's against Adelaide. And I just get the feeling, Goody, that the Adelaide reserves, in essence, as they are finding their feet with a very big win. They've now strung together a couple of really good games as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely really important for your development of your group to have their side really performing well. You know, they'll be looking at it as a development program, but at the same time, building that winning culture is really important.
What about your boys, the Panthers?
Yeah, it's great to see the Panthers sitting on top of the ladder. We haven't won a flag since '64, so I've gone early on them. I think they're on the right track.
It's going to be a big call. South Adelaide and Sturt, the unbeaten teams, and the Eagles, of course, with a game in hand as well. And your boys, Central Districts, Nathan, they're sitting there on 1 and 2 at the moment.
Yeah, the boys had a great win last week against Norwood, but unfortunately the Adelaide reserves have knocked them off yesterday. So one of my good mates, Ian Callanan, he's captaining Adelaide, so he would have liked to get that win over his old team, but looking forward to the Doggies bouncing back next week.
He's a beauty, Ian Callanan, isn't he? He's been one of the great... Not journeyman's the wrong word. He's been all over the country to play his craft. He got some great time in the AFL. It's great to see him contributing.
He's a ripper. He's one of the best blokes you'll ever meet. He loves the game, and it was just great to see him get an opportunity, albeit late in his career. And it's great that he's giving back to the young guys at Adelaide and still playing. Speaking
of the SANFL, one of the legends, of course, is Roy Laird, the Central Districts coach. And during the week, he caught up with our very own Tristan Fernanda.
Roy, you're embarking upon your 12th year at Centrals. Tell us what you're hoping to achieve from this playing group. What's a realistic goal?
Oh, look, we're really confident based on our preparation that we're fit. We've looked at varying aspects of our game plan. Defensively, we thought we needed to improve quite a bit. So the attitude's been terrific from the players. We have brought in a large number of players into our group, which has brought a new, fresh air of enthusiasm amongst the players. So we're all looking forward to it.
Who are some of the new faces you brought into the club over the off-season?
Bryce Retzlaff's a lad who's come from Brisbane, or played at Brisbane 2 years ago. He's a forward. Jacob Gilby, Tim McIntyre are players off AFL lists. And both have had really good pre-seasons. Ben Maybon, a ruckman off the Kangaroos list. It's been, again, great attitude. And that's the one thing with all of these players. Their attitudes have been outstanding in coming here. And they fit into the group really well, the culture of the place, good characters, so we look forward to big roles from them.
Roy, so many people have spoken about the departure of Justin Hardy, such a focal point inside forward 50 for you. How do you think it'll affect your structure in 2014?
Look, the lads we've brought in are probably in a healthier shape. Hards had been a really reliable player for us for a number of years, but from a physical point of view, he's starting to struggle. So. Another lad, Johan Wagner's a forward from Port Lincoln, kicked a lot of goals over there, got really good speed. So we think we're going to have a bit more variety up in our forward line than what we probably have over the last couple of years.
Finally, Roy, what do you think makes the SANFL such a special competition outside the AFL?
Certainly from a playing point of view, I think players recognise how strong a competition it is. It's certainly been a feeder comp now to the AFL for a long time, both from a junior level, but also we're seeing a lot of that more mature age type player being drafted back into the AFL, which is great for the comp. I guess it shows a respect from those recruiters as to what sort of competition it is. But one of the overriding things would be the tribal nature of the competition. Supporters have always kept a real loyalty to their local football club, which they've always had prior to the AFL, or the Crows and Port really going into the AFL. So that tribal aspect has always created a great feel of competitiveness amongst supporting group, and the clubs have still maintained that ferocious competitive streak against each other, so it's a great competition to be part of.
Roy Laird there, and of course one of the greats, I think 9 grand finals and 7 flags. You played under him, Nathan?
Yeah, I love Roy. I probably wouldn't be in the AFL. Actually, I wouldn't be in the AFL if it wasn't for Roy. He turned me around, and he's just got a great way of getting the best out of his players. So along with Roy and probably the 2 Gowns twins, you think of Central Districts for who they are, but now he's going with a new list, and as the guys he mentioned there, it'll be interesting to see if he can go back to the top.
When you say turn you around, what impact did he have?
I was a bit rough around the edges, and early on in the early days, he just told me to pretty much shape up or ship out. They've got a great culture at the club, and You look at him there, he's a scary-looking man. So when he laid the law down to me, I was pretty quick to comply, and he's just... he exists to win premierships, so everything you do is for a reason, and you know, and he gets great confidence in his players, and the proof's in the pudding as far as the results he's had.
This year, of course, we are rewarding our Farmers Union Iced Coffee medalist, a nomination every week for the player who is hard-working, determined and has a win-at-all-cost attitude, the great spirit of Farmers Union Iced Coffee. And this week's nominee is Michael Wunke. So Michael, who's a two-time winner of the goal-kicking award and very familiar to you now since he's moved to the Eagles as well, Nathan, is a worthwhile nominee this week.
Yeah, I didn't know that was coming, but yeah, no, he's a great mate of mine actually. We spend a bit of time together in the off-season overseas having a bit of fun, and he's a great player and wasn't quite probably given the opportunity at the top level, but he's proven to be more than handy for the SANFL.
All the Anzac Day games in local footy, a big weekend of football coming your way next.